Well, there is simply no denying the destructive force of a hurricane. These systems can rip roofs off of homes, strip siding from them, turn a solid home into just piles of rubble. But there are things that you can do today to make your home more secure before the season even begins. So let's bring back in our hurricane expert, Dr. Rick Knabb. Alex Wilson, of course, is with us, as well as engineering expert Daniel Smith. Daniel, so good to see you this evening. Let's talk about the roof. Let's focus on the roof. Why is that such a vulnerable part of our home?
Sure. So the roof is really the first line of defense when it comes to hurricanes, but they age just like we do. So it's really important to regularly check those out, make sure they're still up to the task of protecting us, and make sure they're ready for the hurricane.
Question. Derek, what are some little things that we can do to the roof now ahead of time? Maybe some things that we wouldn't think of that aren't super expensive, but they're little things that are going to make a big difference.
Sure, of course. So a lot of us are at home right now. One of the first things that you can do is start a DIY inspection of your roof. So that can be done from the ground with binoculars. You can also use a ladder if you have access. And you can check your roof for any missing shingles or tiles. Those can be problem makers. You can also get in the attic potentially if you have access. And there's some really interesting things that you can find out about the roof and its performance in the attic. And if you find or you're worried about the wind resistance, one of the things you can do is add caulking or flooring adhesive along the trusses where the plywood meets the trusses, and that'll really add some strength to your roof.
And Daniel, let's talk about soffits. You could explain to folks what those are, why they're important, and
Sure.
how you can help keep them in place and keep them strong.
Right. Okay. So if you're outside your house and you face one of your walls and you look up, there's a little piece of ceiling between the wall and the edge of your roof where the gutters are. That little thing is called the soffit. And usually they have little holes in them, and they're fantastic for ventilation, especially in Florida where it gets really hot. They're great in the summer, but during a hurricane, they can be problematic because, as you would imagine, wind and water can get pushed into the wall and then up into those soffits and cause all kinds of problems in your attic.
And so what do you want to do to the soffit to keep it in place? Yeah, is there something you can do with caulking there too?
Sure, yeah, exactly. Really simple, really easy. One of the things you can do is run a bead of caulk right along that soffit where it meets the wall, and then in each of the little gaps where you see it connects to the side of the wall, and that can help to both anchor the soffit to the wall and also keep some of that water from getting pushed up into the attic.
Daniel, let's talk about maybe after a hurricane. A lot of times people will need to repair a roof or replace a roof. Is there a certain type of material that you would recommend if someone needs to do a roof replacement?
Well, a roof replacement, I guess the reality is that a lot of the roofing systems that are out there work as long as they're installed properly. So more so than just picking any one particular product is just making sure that it's installed correctly. So make sure you work with your professional, tell them what you want, be informed, and let them know that you want to make sure your roof is installed properly, because especially after a hurricane, that's a great opportunity to fix and put good products on the roof so that next time it doesn't happen.
So, Daniel, whether it's the soffits or the underside of the roof or your gutters, do you guys have some lists of some detailed instructions of how to do these things yourself without having to get a contractor?
Yeah, absolutely. So hurricanestrong.org is where you want to go. Bottom right of the page, you'll see there's a DIY inspection checklist. You can go ahead and go down there, and then it'll walk you through some of the easy things that you can do by yourself at home. And then along with that, there's some specific information for the roof, the soffit, the gutters, and some really easy stuff that people can do right now today while they're at home.
Well, Daniel Smith with Venris Consulting and an engineer with the Federal Alliance for Safe Homes, thank you so much for giving us these tips and giving us an idea where to get more details on these do-it-yourself improvements to your home. Now, don't miss tomorrow night's topic. We're going to finish this series on how to strengthen your home. We're talking about the do's and don'ts when it comes to lessening the impact of flooding on your home. Mike?